I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It, Episode 10. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast, and you'll never miss an episode on how to naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
Thanks for spending time with me. I do appreciate that. What we're talking about today is home remedies. Things that you can do at home to save yourself money, save yourself time, save yourself aggravation, and hopefully fix a lot of your healthcare problems so that you don't have to run off to the doctor. Now, I know, before I went on the air, I was talking to my producer, and he said to me, he says, now, why are you doing a show to teach people how to not come see you? And I said, yeah, you're right. Maybe I am kind of stupid doing a show about this. No, but there's a lot of things you can do at home. And then when you do need our services, and we're chiropractors. Again, I'm board certified in chiropractic, orthopedics, pain management, double board certified in nutrition, BSN nutrition, retired dietitian, award-winning author. This show, as far as I know, is the #1 health and wellness show in the world right now. We go coast to coast and around the world, and I've been in practice 33 years. So we've got a lot of experience there. So when you need our services, when you need chiropractic care, because you can't adjust yourself, when you need to have your stomach adjusted, pull the stomach away from the diaphragm, when you need nutritional evaluations, supplements, we're here for you. But some of the things you can do at home, which will then hopefully save you a trip to not just us, but everywhere. So I did promise to talk about fatigue, and I know that's an exciting topic. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I want you to sign up for my newsletter. Go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, and you can order supplements there, my books, read articles, listen to my podcast, hundreds and hundreds of hours of podcasts, over 1,000 hours now. If you have questions, send them to me through the website, drjoeesposito.com, and you can sign up for our newsletter. And the reason I tell you this is we send out little health blurbs and little tips every day, not every day, about once a week, maybe once every other week, not a lot, real quick to read. So that's good. But like a couple of weeks ago, I gave a lecture, and you had to pay to get in. Well, they gave me a bunch of tickets to give away, and I gave them to you, my listeners. And if you're on the newsletter, you got your newsletter, and you said, oh my gosh, I got free tickets here. So we give away things sometimes too, and it's no charge. We're never going to give out your email address. Don't worry about that. And we want to be in contact with you, and we want to let you know what we're doing, what we're up to, so to speak. Okay? So that's on the website, drjoeesposito.com, along with the podcast and the supplements and my articles, and you got to reach us. It's all there. Make an appointment. It's all there. Let's talk about fatigue. Lack of energy, variety of causes. It could be too little sleep. It could be overstressed adrenal glands. Adrenal glands are little tiny glands, and they produce something called adrenaline, which gives you what? Energy. Well, they also produce prostaglandins, which control inflammation. So when I have patients come into our office, whenever they're in a disease mode, many times I find a pinched nerve going to their adrenal glands. So the adrenal glands are just so stressed out, they can't keep up with the demand to produce the prostaglandins. And then they also produce sex hormones. Your adrenal glands, not only do your testicles and ovaries produce sex hormones, but so do your adrenal glands. You got a backup plan. Body usually has redundancy everywhere. So if the adrenals are burned out, you may not be producing your sex hormones properly. So a couple of symptoms you might have. Well, fatigue, of course, is one of them. Bags under your eyes. If you have puffiness or bags under the eyes, that's usually a sign of adrenal fatigue. So you probably want to get that fixed. And if you go to the website, drjoeesposito.com, you can listen to this show and hundreds of hours of other shows. I know we've talked about the adrenals in other shows as well. So what do we do? Number one, you got to cut out the stimulants. What do I mean by stimulants? Coffee, tea, soda. These are all stimulants, and they need to be dropped out of your life because they stress and burn out the adrenal glands. You got to drink more water. But most of you are dehydrated. We've got to get those water levels back up. Now, you can drink herbal tea. You can drink water. You can drink seltzer. You can take seltzer and add a little twist of lemon or lime to it and some stevia if you want to, but not coffee, not regular black tea, which is a diuretic because it has caffeine, not scotch and water. Scotch and water is still not water. I know you're thinking that, but Dr. Joe, it has water right in the name. Doesn't count. So you got to get more water. Also, we have something called Dr. Joe's Adrenal Support. And very, very, well, all our supplements are extremely popular. I don't want to play favorites here. But the adrenal supplements are great. Again, if you're over 30, if you're under stress, you drink a lot of stimulants, you bags under your eyes, the adrenal supplements just rock. They really help tremendously get the body back on. Now, it's not going to happen the first day or two. You may have to take them for several days to kind of rebuild your body. Because again, we're not treating the symptoms. We're not treating your fatigue. We're treating the cause of your fatigue, which is many times dehydration, overwork, stimulants, bowel constipation. We got to get things working here. So that's a pretty cool thing you can do. If we have a lot of gas and bloating, it's, again, not a conversation you have on the first date, but it's something you need to look at. Number one, you want to check the hiatal hernia or the stomach pushing up against the diaphragm. Because if the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm, you're not digesting food properly. The food essentially rots in your colon. When it rots, it gives off gases, and that's the problem. I was a guest speaker at a big conference a couple weeks ago, and when the local TV stations was there, and they came up and they interviewed me. And very strange, the woman asked me, she says, "Now, Dr. Joe, what about gas?" And I said, well, it's okay to produce gas. The body does. It's a natural process when you digest food. Even the best digestive systems will produce a little bit of gas. But it shouldn't be foul-smelling. It shouldn't be continuous. And if it is, then you've got something wrong. So it's okay if a little bit of gas here and there, but you just don't want it to be such a big issue that it affects your life. You might want to consider cutting down on your meats, because meats and dairy products, beer, chicken wings, you know, the ones that give you those horrible gaseous reactions, you cut them out. I mean, I haven't had meat in well over 30 years, and I think you should probably do the same thing. But if you do eat meat, I'm going to recommend organic only. And the reason is because before 1980, we didn't have to worry about all the steroids and hormones and chemicals and pesticides and herbicides, really since 1960. But it's been getting worse. So you probably want to cut that out and be amazed, as you will be, as everyone is amazed, how great you feel when you cut out the meat and the dairy products and the animal products altogether. So if you're going to eat animal products, they have to be organic, but just cut them out, folks. I haven't had animal products in well over 30 years. I feel great. I've saved, I don't know how, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in food costs just because I've been eating, more plant-based. It really is pretty cool to do this, and you'll be amazed. You'll be fascinated what happens when you do it. So here's my challenge. Do it for 2 weeks. If I'm wrong, so what? I was wrong. Saved a couple of bucks, saved a few animals' lives, cut down on your carbon footprint, and you live a lot longer. If I'm right, well, then I want you to consider it as a lifestyle. And a lot of people say, I'm going to do this lifestyle, but I'm going to cheat on my birthday, or I'm going to cheat on Christmas. And then after a year or two, you go, you know what? Why am I cheating? I feel awful when I do it. Most people don't know how bad they feel until they start to feel good. So I want you to give yourself a chance at feeling good and see what happens. And that's a real simple home remedy, because that's what we're talking about today's home remedies. It's a real simple home remedy to make yourself feel good and get lots of energy back in your body. And then if you do eat animal products, I do recommend you take Dr. Joe's enzyme support, because your body is just so stressed out, it's going to need an enzyme support. We just don't have the enzymes to break down animal products like we used to when we were younger, and also years ago, because we ate a lot less animal products. And our bodies are getting older and they're getting weaker. So let's stop that. Go to those enzymes, Dr. Joe's enzyme support. That's on the website, because it has protease, amylase, and lipase. And protease breaks down proteins. Amylase breaks down carbohydrates, and lipase breaks down fat. And so you might need a little boost if you're going to eat something really toxic like animal products. We're talking about home remedies today. How about headaches? How many people have headaches? Raise your hands. A lot of you. Number one cause of headaches, by far, bar none, pinched nerves in the neck. Now, if you have a pinched nerve in the neck, that can affect the nerve supply up into the head and the neck. It can also affect the basovertebral artery, the artery that runs in the back of your head that supplies the brain with blood, along with your carotid arteries in the front. And if bones are out of alignment, the discs will wear out. As the discs wear out, they can crush the nerves and irritate more nerves, causing more headaches. So number one issue, if you have headaches, you got to get your spine checked. I mean, there's absolute no-brainer there. Get it checked. That's the most common issue. Now, there could be something more serious, like a brain tumor or a bleeder or something like that, but it's so rare. And if we find something we're not sure about in our offices, we always send you out for an MRI or CAT scan, send you to a neurologist, get a more in-depth workup. But we'd love to work with you. We'd love to be your doctors. We really would. And so if you're suffering, I want you to stop suffering needlessly. In most cases, you are suffering needlessly. And the biggest complaint I get, by far, from my patients, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer for so long? I know a lot of you are sitting on the couch or laying around or in your car and you're thinking, Dr. Joe, I've been meaning to come see you, say it with me, for you fill in the blank. 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And I've been meaning to come see you, but, and then you have to fill in the blank too. I don't know if you're in my network and insurance. I couldn't get time off work. I was raising kids. You fill in the blanks. And when patients get here, for some reason, I always find a way to get here again. Once they start seeing the results, they're usually very happy. And with insurance, I got to tell you this, not just for our offices, but for all offices. Many times, a reason a hospital, a doctor, or a healthcare provider is not in an insurance network is because they can't afford to be in the insurance network. What I mean by that is the insurance companies are cutting out bills it seems like almost every week. I remember the old days when I was a young man. I remember the old days when you'd send in a bill for $100 and the insurance company would pay 80% and they'd pay $80 and the patient would pay $20 and you were done. Now you've got credentialing and networks and in networks and out of networks and what do we cover, and we bundle things and we don't think anything should be paid for at all. And that's why a lot of doctors and hospitals and healthcare providers drop out of the networks. Because it cost us, there was one network we dropped out of, it cost us more money to see the patient than we collected. Isn't that insane? How would you like it if it cost you more to go to work than you got paid to go to work? You wouldn't do it. So don't think your doctors are being mean or the hospital's being mean. 100% of the time, as far as I know, they can't afford to be in the network. But that being said, with copays and deductibles and out-of-pockets, it's usually either the same or less expensive, whether you're in network or out of network. Trust us on that. So if you have questions, you want to come see us, always verify that with all your doctors first. Don't think just because they're not on some list somewhere, I mean they're really smart. So get that fixed when you can. Now, we're talking about headaches now. Pinched nerves can be a problem. And that's why I said if you want to make an appointment, call us first. And if you're in a car accident, by the way, folks, you always want to get yourself checked. I've never seen a car accident where the occupants weren't hurt, ever, unless it was a little scratch. But any damage to the car, damage to the occupants, make sure you get that checked. Most people have car insurance, ironically, one of the few insurances that still covers. Whether it was your fault, you may have MedPay or uninsured motorist, and if it's the other person's fault, they have liability. So there's ways to get things covered. Trust me on this. And you know what? Even if it's not covered, what are you going to do? Suffer? Live in pain? Die early? It's insane. So get well. So back to headaches. Couple of tricks you can do. If you have a headache, depending on what the cause is, soak your feet in hot water for about 10 minutes. At the same time, hold an ice pack on your neck, and even put a couple of drops of lavender oil on your forehead. Lavender oil relaxes your body. And what we're doing is pulling the blood away from your head, and with the ice, driving it away from the head even further. So it's just a little trick you might want to try. Many people have headaches because of constipation. So once they get on Dr. Joe's intestinal cleanser and the bowels start moving again, a lot of times that gets rid of the headaches too. When I was young, my grandmother's cure for everything: have an enema. Your grandmother liked that? Didn't matter what it was: cold, flu, scratchy throat, ear infection, rottenness, enema. They were right. The old timers, they knew what had to be done, and the bowels were so important to getting the body working properly. So before all the drugs and before the advent of drug stores even, running to the drugstore and having all these choices, they understood the bowels have to be clean. It's really important. That's why Dr. Joe's intestinal cleanser is popular, because so many people realize when the bowels start moving how much better they feel. So we're talking today about home remedies, things that you can do at home to help get yourself well and keep yourself well. The easiest home remedy, and I'm going to get into a few more right now, is making sure you're eating the right foods. Stay away from the 7 deadly sins: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas. I know that's your whole diet. I've heard this story before. At least take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Absolute minimum. That should be the law. When I become Grand Poobah of the universe, everyone has to take Super Greens and Essential Source every day. Tastes great. They're 2 powders. Take a scoop of each. I mix it in a jar and shake it up. Coconut milk, almond milk. I don't do cow's milk. Of course, I don't do animal products. And just drink it down. Stuff's amazing. And when you start taking it after a few days and you realize how much better you feel, you're going to go, why don't I do this every day? It's relatively inexpensive for what you're getting. Loaded with all the nutrients that you need. It's vegan. It's hypoallergenic. There's no reason why you shouldn't be doing these things, folks. For the little bit of money investment that you would make, it's less than half of a coffee, a fancy coffee. It's about a third of a fancy coffee, actually. So why wouldn't you do that? I'll take them sometimes twice a day. If I got a big day, if I'm going for a hike, if I got a bunch of radio shows, got a hot date, I'm going to take a double dose. I want to make sure my body's working at 100%. I think you want that too. Now, folks, if you want to come see us, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, and you can book an appointment. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge in the Atlanta area because the show goes all over the world, and people say, where's Stockbridge? Where's Marietta? So we're in the Atlanta area. Love to have you come out and see us. We accept people with insurances, no insurances, car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp injuries. We want to be your doctors. We really do. We want to help get you well and keep you well. So make the appointment. Stop suffering. Stop making excuses. I'm tired of people coming in and saying, well, Dr. Joe, I meant to come in 6 years ago, and then I forgot, and my headache got worse, and my wife left me because I had a headache all the time. Just get well. And then then you can have your regrets as to why you didn't do it sooner, but just get well. Go to the website right now. Right now, you can do it online, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. And the supplements are also available through my website. If you have questions, you can call the office. Also available on Amazon. My books are there too. So no excuse. Folks, I know you're spending money on stupider things than your health care. So stop that. Spend it on your health care and be amazed. First of all, how much more money you'll make. You'll have much more energy. You'll probably make a lot more money. And your life changes. Your family changes. Everybody gets happy. All right. So let's keep talking. My goodness. A few more minutes left. I got so much more to cover. Insomnia. It's a big problem. People can't fall asleep. Now, you can try supplements like valerian root. Valerian root, you could either make a tea or you can take it as a capsule. I'd rather the capsule because if you drink tea, you might have to wake up to go pee. See, tea and pee, they rhyme there. But the other problem I find is if your stomach is pushed up against your diaphragm and you have acid reflux and heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, your stomach's job, as we said, is to take proteins and break them into amino acids. The amino acid tryptophan combines with vitamin B6 and creates a chemical called 5-HTP. Don't worry about the chemistry. 5-HTP becomes serotonin in your brain. Serotonin helps you calm down. Serotonin becomes melatonin, which helps you do what? Sleep. So if you have digestive problems, you may not be producing enough melatonin, which means you can't sleep. And now we're finding that melatonin can actually help fight cancer. Ain't that a kick in the head? I never knew that until recent research came out, that it's a wonderful anti-carcinogenic. So you really want to fix that digestive system if you have it, but you also got to check the nerve supply, make sure the nervous system is working, and you got to stop putting the bad food in your body and start putting the good food in the body. Makes sense, right? Nasal congestion, let's cover that. A lot of people have nasal congestion, so I do want to cover that as we go through here. If you have nasal congestion, a couple of things. Number one, you have to give up all dairy and all wheat. How much? All. How much? All. Because even a little bit can trigger the inflammatory reaction and lead to problems. So, all dairy. What's that? Milk, butter, cheese, yogurt, ice cream. Eggs are not dairy, by the way. Eggs do not come out of cows. I've never seen a cow lay an egg. However, people always say, well, dairy, what about eggs? It's not dairy. Now, you can give up eggs. It's an animal product, but it is a hyperallergenic food. So, yeah, let's lump that in there anyway. You talked me into it. Let's give up the eggs, too. So all dairy and all wheat, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas. Now, there are gluten-free breads made without wheat. They don't taste nearly as good. I'm going to be honest with you. So just give them up for 2 weeks. I'm just giving you a trial run here. Give them up for 2 weeks, see how you feel. Chances are you're going to feel great. And then you never want to go back again. But you will. You'll cheat, because everyone does. And you'll cheat and you'll have a bagel, or you'll have a piece of pizza, whatever it is, and then you'll feel awful again. Remember that I told you this. Mark my words, young man. And you're going to say, wow, Dr. Joe was right, which I love, by the way. I love when a woman whispers that in my ears. You were right. Or that makes sense. Those 3 words I love a woman to whisper in my ears. Because it makes me so happy. Because I am right. I am telling you truth. This is healthcare that really, really works. I'm not making this stuff up. So cut out the dairy, cut out the wheat, see if that solves the problem. Many times it does. And if that solves the problem, then you can know what causes it. And if you are going to have a bagel or a pizza or a piece of bread or whatever, you're going to have problems. So stop doing it. With me so far? You can also check your digestive system, because if you're not breaking down your proteins into amino acids, you got a problem. And the amino acid, the big chunks of protein get into your small intestine where they get absorbed. And And when they get absorbed, you can have an immune reaction. The body can start attacking these foreign proteins, and that can create allergic reactions. So the digestive system is directly linked to the sinus problems. And no one ever thinks about that. They keep trying to treat the sinuses. That's the symptom. It's not the cause. So you want to get to the cause, not the symptoms, and that's the digestion. And the nerves. Pinched nerve in your upper neck goes into your brain, eyes, ears, and sinuses. That can cause headaches, blurred vision, dizziness, loss of memory, fatigue, ringing of the ear, sinus congestion. Want to stop that, right? So once again, what does it come back to? It seems like no matter what topic we talk about, and we've done, I don't know, gosh, how many years I've been on the air? I don't know, 15, 20 years I've been doing radio now, maybe 15? Anyway, it comes back to three basic things: normally functioning nervous system, normally functioning digestive system, good nutrition. That's what it boils down to, folks. And if you can get those three concepts in your mind and practice it, that's where the challenge comes in. That's where you start to see big differences. Same thing with snoring. A lot of people snore. You may have a spouse that snores. I remember my grandmother used to snore terribly. I remember we lived in a little apartment in Hoboken, New Jersey. And she was a little, they were called railroad rooms. All the rooms were in a row. So you had the kitchen, living room, 2 bedrooms, and that was it. And if she fell asleep taking a nap, I just hear these noises. Like, oh, what is that? A dinosaur or whatever? And in Hoboken, we didn't have trees in Hoboken, much less dinosaurs. But usually that happens when people fall asleep on their backs. So a little trick you can do, it's a little weird, I know, is take a T-shirt with a pocket a little pocket in there, put something in that pocket like a golf ball, and sew it up. And then put it on backwards. So that prevents you from sleeping on your back. Well, the problem with that is that can twist your neck around if you're sleeping on your stomach. So that's one trick you can try for sleeping. But many times if we pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm, that solves the problem. Back to that hiatal hernia move that we do. And I'm telling you, if I could never see another patient, if I could never adjust another patient as a chiropractor, we can build an extremely successful practice on nothing but digestive problems. So we want to fix it all. We want to fix the digestive system, we want to fix the nervous system, and we want to fix everything we possibly can, basically. If you have a sore throat, a couple of things I want you to try this. Get some sage, some dried sage, and make a tea out of it. And take the tea and then gargle with it. And when you gargle with it, the sage acts like an astringent. Put a little salt in there too. It acts like an astringent and it tightens everything up in your throat, which is really kind of cool. So that's something you can consider as well. Women, if you have hot flashes, there's a cool supplement called black cohosh. And black cohosh looks like, essentially, estrogen. So as you get older, your estrogen levels drop. Now, estrogen goes up into your hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus is your thermostat. It regulates temperature in your body. So if the hypothalamus isn't working properly because you're not getting the estrogen, it can lead to things like hot flashes. So what do we do about that? The black cohosh acts like estrogen, goes up, looks like estrogen, I guess, goes up into the hypothalamus and kind of shuts down the thermostat. So it's pretty cool. That's a neat little trick. And for menstrual cramps, we're going to wrap it up pretty soon here, hormonal changes can cause that problem. There's actually a supplement called a cramp bark, and it works pretty well. But with menstrual cramps, many times you got to adjust the low back. The nerves in the low back control the colon, sex organs, and bladder. So if you have a pinched nerve in the low back, that can lead to menstrual cramps or any problem with the colon, the sex organs, and the bladder. So we've had patients for many years come into our office and we adjust their low backs, and that helps tremendously with the menstrual cramps. There's also an acupuncture point in your foot. And I can't show you this on the radio, but if you do come in as patients and you have menstrual cramps, I'll show you this acupuncture point you can rub on your foot, and boy, it's amazing. It just melts the pain away. It's crazy how well it works. But that would work too. But also cutting out the stimulants, the coffee, chocolate, that helps tremendously with all sorts of cramping, including uterine cramping. And then magnesium as a supplement might work as well. But the minimum amount of supplements every single day, Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. If you're over 30, under stress, you want to take the adrenal supplements. If you have a circulatory issue, either romantic or brain function, you want to take Dr. Joe's Nitric Oxide. Digestive issues, digestive enzymes, and probiotics. I've got them all on the website. And B vitamins. Another thing, when you're under fatigue, you want to consider B vitamins as well, because that helps the nervous system, but also helps generate energy. Patients ask me, how do you keep your energy level? How do you do it? They've watched me do radio shows and lectures with no notes. And like, how do you do a lecture with no notes? Folks, when the brain is working properly, it's fun to be healthy. So if you want to make an appointment, you want to order the supplements, you want to send me questions, listen to archived radio shows, podcasts, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, number one Dr. Joe in the world, and we will set you up a time to come see us. And we take people, we take all people, insurance, no insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. We want to be your doctors. And I'll say it 1,000 times, and I've said it 1,000 times, I'll say it again. If you've ever been in a car accident and the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. So what are you waiting for? Stop suffering needlessly. Stop complaining. Get to the cause of your problem. So make an appointment right now. Go to the website. You can do it online, no matter what time of day or night it is, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. And the supplements are there. Also, the supplements are available on Amazon. If you have an Amazon account, you can order them there. We want to help get you well and keep you well. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Once again, thanks so much for listening to the show. Tell your friends about it. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WSBRadio.com and on the WSB Radio app.